welcome to Basic Binges, part of Nom Talk Network. So on this show, we review popular shows that are out now while eating, drinking our favorite binge-worthy snacks and drinks. And don't forget to redeem those channel points. So I am your host, Yaya. Oh my God, this is my first time hosting, so please be nice to me. but and right now I'm like being the traditional Asian auntie. I got some tea on my cute little tea set. And I am super Asian, eating some drunken chicken with some broccoli and some like chicken rice. So that's super, super exciting. And let me introduce our guests for today. So we have Kenji and Mike. Say hello, everyone.
Hello.
So let's start with you, Kenji. Introduce yourself.
Oh, hello, everybody. I'm Kenji, also known as the Kenjinator. I'm excited to talk about this show. I've been enjoying it. I love martial arts, and I'm here with my. I didn't get to swing by Daiso like I was hoping to get some like Asian eats, but I'm here with some summerberry cake pop Haagen. Oh, there we go. Summerberry cake pop Haagen Dazs and some cream soda. So yeah, I'm just having some sweets. We're having a good time. I'm glad I'm here to talk about this.
Awesome. And we have Michael. Michael, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Michael J. Lee. So you can see it on my screen. Well, there we go. I'm pointing the correct way this time. But yeah, I am just a nerd writer. I write for the Nerds of Color. That's in LA, and We Live Entertainment. And I ate all my food earlier, but I am wearing food on my shirt, so that counts. I'm wearing a Bao shirt, and yeah. So
awesome. I'm so excited. I'm also really nervous. But today we are talking about episode 1 and 2 of American Born Chinese on Disney Plus. Okay, so yeah. So I'm so sorry. I am okay. So first of all, what are your thoughts about the show? Like there was a lot of promotion for this. Like I saw a lot of promotion for like on Spotify. I even had it promoted on like my SoundCloud. It was really crazy. So what were your first thoughts about this? And I know that this show is based on a comic book. Michael, let's start with you. What was your first thoughts about this before watching the show itself?
before watching it, I thought it was a nice gateway for kids to get introduced to all the martial arts movies, the Wuxi movies, and yeah, that was basically it. Because it's a Disney thing, and you saw, people running around the trees or just that basic walking on the air sort of thing, and there was also the martial arts aspect. So it's like, you know what, I think this would be great for kids to like introduce them into that kind of genre. So yeah.
Okay. And how about you, Kenji? What were your thoughts before watching the show?
So I actually had just barely heard about the comic book before the announcement was made. And because like I personally am a big fan of Journey to the West, like I think it's such an amazing I feel like it's like one of the most perfect stories ever written of all time. And like any iteration of it, I think I just eat it up. Like it's why I think I like Dragon Ball so much too, is because of because of the borrowed elements. But yeah, I just love the story overall. So like I was really excited to hear that, the show was gonna be happening. And also when anything with Michelle Yeoh in it, gets me hyped. So like I was like really excited to see what was gonna happen. And of course once I started seeing the promos with like Brian Lee from Marshall Club and stuff, I was just so excited. I was like, I'm in. I'm so in for this.
Awesome. No, honestly, I think so for me personally, I was like, I love Journey to the West too. Like that's what I grew up with. That was my thing as growing up. I was actually the opposite because I was like, everything Western always just seems like it's based on Journey to the West. So
Fair.
like what was it? Was it Forbidden Kingdom, the one Jackie Chan and Jet Li, Journey to the West, and then we had that interesting POC cast that had like no Asians in it from on Netflix that I've never watched. I heard very interesting things about it. So I was actually kind of hesitant, but after watching I was actually really cool. So so after watching it, definitely see it more. American Born Chinese is based on Journey to the West, 西游记, and you have right in the opening sequence, you have Sun Wukong like just dashing through the trees, and it's crazy. And then because I really love the intro. I loved how they had that intro with the Chinese on the side, and then they translated in the corner.
Yeah.
It was done so beautifully. It really reminded me, like, I legit, when I saw this, I was like, they actually did their research. They did their research. Disney never did the research with any of the like Chinese other. I'm just gonna say, but I was really excited, and right off the bat, I actually didn't know that it was Sun Wukong's son. What's his name? Sun.
Yeah.
Sun. Oh my gosh. Sun. Sui Wen-Chen. Wei-Chen. Wei-Chen.
Wei-Chen. Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I did not know that was. I was kind of like, why does Sun Wukong look kind of gnarly? Then you found out, oh, that's his son. Ha 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 ha. The one chasing him is actor Sun Wukong. What did you feel about that opening sequence right off the bat? Let's start with you. Kenji's eating, so let me go with Michael again.
I'm always ready to talk.
Okay, you want to talk? You can go ahead and talk.
Well, now I'm eating, so go.
Okay, well, it was going back to what I was saying about like the earlier trailers. When I saw that whole action sequence, it was actually breathtaking because it reminded me of all the other martial arts films, like what was that, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon stuff. Because that's kind of like those kind of films were my entry point when I was younger, because I was okay. What was that? Full disclosure, I'm like a real ABC kind of kid, so I did not have that much influence in terms of those wuxia movies. But that was my first intro point to it, and that was like kind of a reminder of like, oh my gosh, these incredible films that are so poetic but also action packed and everything like that. So I thought that was really cool, and the whole introduction to the father and son dynamic, it really brought something more earthbound to it, a real humanity sort of thing to it. So yeah.
Awesome. How about you, Kenji?
I mean, I definitely loved the use of the like the calligraphy and the intro for the intro. I thought it was beautifully like kind of it was like I love like the use of like silence in the beginning, and then we kind of get like brought into the action. I thought was, and just the use of color to like kind of like help distinguish between like clearly like the different realms and stuff like that. I love the use of color in that introduction, and I was also kind of like super excited to see like how good or how bad maybe even like the facial prosthetics were going to possibly be for like the monkey like the monkey makeup. Like I partially was worried, like, are we going to have like another like kind of the apes kind of thing where everyone's going to look like,
That's fair.
you know, like what are we going to do? So, but like I actually really loved the makeup that they used. I loved the costumes. Like the wardrobe design that they had, I thought was fantastic. Like I kind of like, it pulled me in, and I was actually really excited to see like where this is going to go. And honestly, like, you know, I like the episode. I really did.
No, I agree. Like, as I said in the beginning, it really did feel like a wuxia like movie. It felt like a wuxia drama, and I watch a lot of dramas, a lot. And so, like when I was watching that, I was like, oh my gosh, it really reminds me of like, what was it, 10 Miles of Peach Blossoms, or Till the End of the Moon, which is a new one that just came out. Especially when you get to the point where the Wei-Chen jumps like into that like cyclone, the cloud cyclone to the mortar world. I think that for me showed the epitome of how much Disney actually researched this, because this is what you don't see like a lot of, like, unless you watch Chinese dramas, you won't see that, because usually in the dramas you'll have like a place in the place of the immortals, and then there's the portal to the earth, and usually it's like a weird cyclo thing. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my god, they did it's actually right. It's not as pretty as it should be, but they still did it right.
Yeah, they got the concept right, basically. Yeah,
they really did. And again, same thing with the costuming. I wasn't expecting like super like full on. It's still very Americanized in my opinion, but it was done in a way that's still very much tied in with like traditional as well, with traditional like Sun Wukong depictions of like past. So I was really excited when I saw that. And before I go on, let me go in the chat a little bit. So Nom Talk Network said hi everyone and welcome, and then Q Ball, hi Q, thank you for joining all the time, Q. We love you, Q. Q Ball said, hey y'all, it's Friday night. I'm just gonna be a fly on the wall tonight and just chill with you guys. Nom Talk Network says, yay, always happy to have you in the chat. And then Cuba said, yay, Nom Talk Network, yay. And then Cuba said, yay, my favorite people, Yaya, Kenji, and Mike. Oh my gosh, we love you, Q. Oh my
Thank
gosh,
you,
you're too
Cue
sweet.
Ball.
I'm going to hang with you guys. I'm curious about the show you guys are going to talk about tonight. Nom Tassim said, OMG, we're only going to covering 2 episodes, but trust, it's great. And Cuba did redeem Hydrate, so let's hydrate, guys.
Oh, well.
Thank you, Q, for redeeming Hydrate. I'm out of focus. Oh my gosh. And Cuba said, hi, J Pass. Oh, hi, Q. Oh my gosh, let me focus my camera. My camera hates me. Are you gonna focus? It's not gonna focus. Aya. Oh, speaking of Aya.
Yeah.
Okay, that was
when I
probably
read
one
the
of
subtitles, like that's
probably one of the things I hated the most in that beginning sequence was just Sun Wukong standing there. Aya. And I was like, okay, that was a little much. That just brought like memories. Personally, I did not like that Aya. I like all the Ayas after. Okay.
Yes.
So we get to the point. Let me just make sure I am on topic. So it transitions. We now see our main character Jin Wang. I do like that they actually did correct that. Like they were not like the what was it? The principal's like Jim Wang. He's like, it's Wang. Like, thank you, because my last name is Wang, so I was like, thank you. But we see Jin, and he is in high school. He is at that age where, you know, everything's awkward. He's trying to be cool. He's trying to be one of the cool kids. And we kind of get a gist of like he had a fight with his friend. Well, actually, the first time we saw him, he's in the store, and it's the mom buying like the discount stuff instead of the expensive stuff. How does that resonate with you guys? Like, because I get that. It's like the parents, especially for me, it was grandparents. Grandparents always picking out the weird thing, but it was cheap. And then you're like, no, that's not cool. I want this one. How did that scene resonate with you guys? Let's start. Kenji's chewing. Let's start with Mike again.
Again. No, my parents, like, that whole sequence, that whole scene was said like, this is cool, now that is cool, what about this, what about that? And I had no idea. I had no sense of fashion back then. I just like put on a shirt and that's it, sort of thing. But it was a funny sequence, because just to watch Jin say, that's not what I usually wear, and you know, he doesn't notice that his mom gave him this kind of plain sweatshirt. It looked cool at first, but then there was this
he
whole
turned around.
hot stuff sit on the bag. It's like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's a total thing that a mom would do, basically, not notice, just totally oblivious to what's hip and what's not hip. But yeah.
Agreed. How about you, Kenji? How did that resonate? Did that speak to you as an Asian born?
You know, it's definitely, you know, there's definitely like like when you go shopping, mom's like, okay, if you're gonna get a shirt, it has to be from this rack over here. You don't even look at this rack over here. You need to just look at this rack and find it. And I was like, okay. So like, I also, but for me, it was never that my mother like picked out things that were lame for me. It would be things that my mom would like just didn't know the references to sometimes. Like, I mean, I'm talking about a completely different like manga now, but or anime. Sorry.
No worries.
There was oh, she got me a Tenchi Muyo shirt, and I was like 11 at the time. So like, you know, who should not be wearing a Tenchi Muyo shirt? I mean, I still have the shirt. I love the shirt. And you know, but at the time I was like, I actually didn't know what it was at the time. So like, I looked it up and I was like, oh, I mean, okay. Like the biggest thing was, the biggest thing about it was that I thought the girl was flipping you off, but she's not. But anyhow.
No, I get that. I get that. Like, my grandmother would buy a lot, especially a lot of shirts. A lot of my shirts came from like Asia also, because my grandma would go back to Taiwan a lot. And sometimes it would come back with the most random like text. It's not even proper English, it's like Russian in there, or there would be like one like bad word in there, and I'd get in trouble for wearing it. And I'm like, I don't know. So I get
My
that.
mom gave it to me.
Yeah, my grandma gave it to me. It's like it should be fine. Anyways, but yes, and then so let's think so we also meet like, the girl he's crushing on, and of course she's a white girl, I'm not gonna lie. She's pretty though. She's very pretty. But so yeah, so they had and then we see them, and then we find out during the summer that he had like a fight. He had a falling out with like his best friend, Anish. That's really funny that his mom doesn't know how to pronounce his friend's name and was calling him like a completely different name, because that's so relatable too. And you see him hanging with like the cool kids, or like because he plays soccer and he's trying to get back onto the soccer team, and he's trying to hang out with all his soccer pals. And you get an inkling that these guys are kind of d-bags. They're like, they're not cool. They're not like, but our main character Jin is just still trying to fit in, and he's willing to like, basically he's willing to sacrifice a lot of things just to be cool. I get that, that teenage angst, that need to fit in, especially it seems like he is the only Asian in the school, like only like, oh no, he's not. No, we
at the time
it seems like it, but later on we can introduce more. Anyways, I'm don't know where I'm going with this. Anyways, but then we get introduction, of course, to Wei-Chen, which you kind of know that he might be, the original like the son of Sun Wukong, but it wasn't really confirmed. I love the part where the principal was all like, "Hey, he's Chinese, just like you." So what are your thoughts about what's happening so far? So, and Kenji is still. Do you want me to? Okay.
I'm good.
I should start all the time.
I actually agree. I actually was in Jin's position once at school. Like, there was this Japanese kid that came from Japan, and then like the second, like, oh yeah, so this is Ryoji. He's from Japan, and everyone looked at me, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I speak Japanese, but don't like. I guarantee there are better kids.
Don't single me out.
Don't single me out in this class. Like, I kept part of me was, and sure enough, like a week and a half later, he's no longer like in our class, because there were other Japanese kids at the school that were way better to like pair him up with in different classrooms. So I was like, thank you.
The principal makes a point of that too. They're like, "Oh, he's way better than you in math. He's not going to follow you in math."
Oh my god!
Like, oh, what the hell?
Oh my god, how about Michael? What are you feeling about the episode so far up to this point?
I feel like they're getting the whole the Asian aspect from the white perspective on point, because the principal pronounces both Jin and Wei's names wrong, because he says Wayne. It's like, no, it's He's like Wei-Chen, and then he's like Wei-Chen. He's like, no, why are you pronouncing it wrong? It's right there. But yeah, that's just stuff that just kind of goes to the whole idea of like, you got how important the names are and everything like that. So, and it's just so surprising that Jin doesn't really fight for it as much as Wei does, because he's so hesitant, and he just, even when he got called Jim, he's like, no, he just kind of takes it. He's like, no, you shouldn't really take it in. Yeah. But that's sort of later on when we meet more of Wayne character, because he's more outspoken of sorts. But yeah, that's later on. But
yeah. It actually it goes to like I just wanted to add, like, it really goes to add when you actually do have like a teacher in your school that's actually willing to like pronounce your name properly. I feel like it like really like gives like a layer of safety, because I had a teacher who literally was like, if there was a Kevin Park in the class, she'd be like, what's your real name? I'm going to pronounce it properly for you. So that she's like,
that's great.
So like, and she took the time to do that, and like, she was an awesome teacher. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I know, like, they definitely, especially when teachers do like take the effort, that it's minimal effort but it means so much to us, and I really like that about the show. It does, like, I was watching with my cousin, and my cousin's like, why is it so dark? Because I'm like, because being an ABC sometimes is like this. Being like a minority feels like this all the time, and I think that so far of this episode, it portrayed it very, very well, like what we go through. Like, I was lucky enough, I grew up in Arcadia, so like I was one of the majority. So thankfully I didn't have to go through that, but like, you know, I understand, like, you know, because I did go to a private school when I was little, and it was very much like that too. But yeah, and we go to chat. Cuball says, well, I understand that I grew up in a musical family, so I'm pretty much just starting into it. Ooh, my dad wasn't sure if I was really wanting to play or serious about it. Plus my special education bring, but I naturally adapted to music, while other kids look at music from my parents' generation as ew, but myself, I didn't care. I love it, and I still do. And I love that, Q. Like, I feel I know, like, I actually talked about it earlier, when in this, there was actually a sequence in the beginning where he's in the car with his mom getting dropped off, and the mom's playing Deng Lijun, Teresa Tang, like Tian Me. I was like, that's my song right there. That's my song. My cousin was like, WTF, and I was like, no, that's my song. I love it. And I was like, yes, my mom plays those songs all the time, and that's why I love it too. So like, I understand, like, you know, especially, you know, it's not seen as cool, but you know what, it's fun, you love it, and that's all that's important. Okay, and then I am losing my train of thoughts really easily, and I am so sorry. And now we have introduced, and I actually really thought it was really interesting that they went with Taiwanese instead of Chinese. Like, Jin's family is Taiwanese, and the actor for Wei-Chen is also like, I was like, wait, is he Taiwanese? I was like, oh wow, he's Taiwanese. I was like, wow. And I love his fashion. It was very, like, what he wore was very much like clothes that Taiwanese kids wear. Not gonna lie, you see, like, you know, the ESL students, and they actually do wear that, and I love it. So now we also, like, okay, so we get to the part where there was like a huge accident. Like, Jin gets injured like, it's pretty bad. Like, he falls, he like slides onto the trash can, head hits the like glass, and then they make a meme out of it. And the meme is from this really like controversial, not PC show, like, that's supposed to be from like the like 70s or not 70s, like 80s or 90s.
Yeah, 80s sitcom stuff.
Yeah, it's like, what was it? Something, what was the thing, like something Wong.
It wasn't what can go wrong. Well, the catchphrase was what can go wrong, but it was beyond repair.
Beyond repair.
Beyond repair.
Yes. Yeah. And so we have this really insensitive meme, and of course, like, you have the scene where the girl's like, oh, I don't think it's PC, and then they ask the Asian dude, is this okay? And then he's all like, sure. Like, he doesn't care because he wants to fit in. I get it. Like, you know, that struggle to sacrifice.
Those whole pressures of
exactly,
social pressures.
So, and then there was like a meme, and it becomes a viral meme, and it's not cool. And we get the introduction of the Culture Club. What were your thoughts about the Culture Club with Rosalie Chang playing Susie Nakamura, which is an issue in itself that I'll bring up later?
I was gonna say, right when she said I'm Japanese, like, what?
I was like,
no, you're not.
Yeah,
like, you're literally not, but okay.
And for those who don't know, Rosalie Chang was the voice of Mei Mei in Turning Red. She's not Japanese, so that was a whole issue in itself. That I was kind of like, why did they get a Chinese person to play a Japanese person? This is like another step back, guys. But anyways,
I mean, for everything that's gone forward, we're just taking, you know, that one minor step back. It's like, no, we're not a monolith. Come on.
It's like, so yeah, what are your thoughts? So Kenji, let's start with you. What are your thoughts up to this point in the Culture Club and everything?
Well, at that point, I just was like, first of all, the casting, I just was like, okay, so we're Tokyo drifting this. Okay, well, I'm okay with it. I guess I'm fine. But I will say, like, even like I'm watching it, and even as like a person who was active in the Culture Club, that he was in school, like when I was in school, even I was like watching and I was like, this is really I would be so uncomfortable and I'm not gonna like the way that Jin behaves. Like that's 100% me in high school. Like I was 100. I was like I just wanted to fit in. I didn't give it. I would push my morals and stuff aside just so I could be part of the cool kid group. I did it often, and so like that. It's I just yeah. There was just so much just with that. It was just very. I just felt so uncomfortable if I was in that position. Like I feel like just anybody. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there may be people who are like more proactive and like are ready to step into the to take that role, that leadership role, but like or be like the figurehead. But like I would personally feel like just like can I just not have this kind of attention put on me? Like I'd much have attention for like anything else than this. So like that was just me personally. Like I know that yeah I just yeah there was some things about it where it was like if this was like anybody else doing this it would seem almost like it almost it some of the writing I was like it just seemed a little stilted in some of the scenes. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
but yeah, that was about it.
How about you, Mike?
Yeah, according like going on Kenji's point, some of the writing seems a little, you know, from adults thinking what kids would be thinking basically. It's like there was no input from the kids cast basically because you know it's based on an experience that I guess they went through in their time, I guess, and then they're trying to interpret it in a more modern setting, which doesn't really work most of the time, and especially as Kenji pointed out, it just doesn't really work here because it feels like it's not coming from an authentic place, I guess. So the whole casting thing is just it just feels weird. I mean, you there are name changes and I could understand that, but just to kind of gender swap, I mean, not gender swap, race swap it like that, it's just like no, that doesn't work. I would actually prefer if you just change the name just to make it more authentic, maybe, but or even just cast a Japanese actor. So
Right?
you could do one of the two at least, but you know they went with the step background and just went yeah. I just didn't agree with that, but
No, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. It's because when I saw it too, I was like, because at first I thought I was like, oh wait, it's her. Wow, we get more Chinese, and suddenly I'm Japanese, and I'm like, and I understand
and
what they
she has a
want.
job. I mean, this is a job for her, so I
Yeah,
don't think
so
she
I don't
would.
blame her. I blame the,
Yeah,
it's not her. No, I love Rosalie, and I think she's an amazing actress, and I think she did so well in like Turning Red and like, but it's just and it's like did it kind of feel like okay, so it felt like for me, I'm not sure for you guys, but when I was watching it, it was like weird for me. I wasn't I know that it was modern like to 2023 because of TikTok, but at the same time it felt like it was still taking place in like the 90s or 2000s for some reason. Like it
yeah.
didn't feel like it was supposed to, it didn't feel like modern time in a way. It was like a weird clash between like what, like I don't know how to explain it.
No, no, I think that's what I was trying to get at. It just feels like the writers are writing for that specific time,
Yeah.
so to speak, and they're not writing according to this generation of kids right now, at least. So yeah.
Agree. And no, and also for me, I was like, when I saw the culture club and everything, I was like, oh no, please no, this is not how you make things change. It's actually how it makes everything worse. It's like there's a time and place. That's what I believe. There's a time and place, and I don't
Oh
think they
yeah.
did the time and place very well for the culture club. Let me go to the chats. He was like, my name is kind of unique, and I'm named after my dad. He was the fifth child in his family, so my name is pronounced Quinnen. The T is silent, so but it's Quintion. This is how it's spelled, and he did redeem stretch, so let's stretch, guys. Stretch. Thank you, Q,
Oh,
for
my arm
redeeming.
disappeared.
Oh no! Thank you, Q, for
You
redeeming
stretched too
stretch.
far.
I know, into the beyond. Um, Nom Talk Network said, "Oh, thank you for that, Q. It's been racking my brain for years." Q Ball said, "Nom Talk Network, there are so many different spellings of the name. It's easier for people to just call me Q or call me Q Ball, Qbert, or Q-Tip. It doesn't matter." And then Nom Talk was like, "OMG, Q-Tip, no!" And Q Ball's like, "I don't mind." Q Ball then went because a few African American friends of mine during high school used to call me that, and I always thought it was just cool. Nom Talk Network say, "Hey, if you felt the nickname, then you're good, but I'll stick to Q Ball, Quinn." Q Ball said, "I remember someone asking me in high school if I was from South. Said no, but my dad is." Okay, so okay, let's see, where are we? How are we in time? Okay, cool. Let's see. So it gets to the point. So now we also have like so we get to the end of the episode. We have suddenly Sun Wukong come and like they wreck up the hallway. And I love the little like I don't know if you guys watched like the old Journey to the West from like the Chinese dramas or movies, but Sun Wukong usually has like a lot of mannerisms, like like that kind of stuff. So I really like the little like details they added to Sun Wukong, his actions, because he did do the head scratch, he did a kind of, I was like, oh my gosh. And then he and his son fight because his son stole the Jingu Bang, which is the staff. And suddenly we get the introduction of Michelle Yeoh as Guang Pusa. Yay! So again, what are you like? How did you guys feel at the end of like the whole introduction of like Guang Pusa, and then like the fact that Guang Pusa sides with Wei-Chen, because Wei-Chen said that like he had a prophetic dream about how there was like a fourth scroll of the sutra that Sun Wukong did not bring from the West, from India, and his dad doesn't believe him. But then Guan Yin Pusa sides with him. So what is your guys' thought about like so far what they introduced of the whole plot for the series? So let's start with Mike.
I thought it was pretty interesting that, because again, I'm not so familiar with Journey to the West stuff. I'm so hardcore ABC. And I think I need to defer to Kenji at least a little bit, so then I can at least I watched the episode, but I just need some a little bit of a guidance at least. So yeah.
I'll send you my movie Rex.
I mean, I was just really like, first of all, I just think the casting so far has been great, like just with all the various, like especially like I mean, and the dad too, even Jin's dad was just phenomenal. Like we were talking about Michelle Yeoh, but also like I mean, we haven't seen Chin Han really since like I feel like since what was it, Dark Knight? You know,
yeah,
like he
Oh
he's
yeah,
the accountant.
yeah.
So like him, like, so it's also one of the things. So like it's like, oh hey, you know, so it's great to see him. Of course, we also had is it Ki Kui Han doing
yes.
the poor beyond repair
Yeah,
you know
the butt of the
Yeah,
I
joke.
thought that was
Yeah,
Freddie
yeah.
great that
Wong.
I actually thought it was beautiful that he actually agreed to play that role, because it was literally those kinds of roles that made him not want to do
Movies.
acting for the
Yeah.
longest time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like it's like I love that he did that to like make that, to drive that point. I thought that was great. But I mean, but also just Michelle Yeoh as essentially like the way that I was always explained to me, and like the when it was read to me was like she's kind of like almost like a divine like one of the divine spirit gods, you know, that's basically that to oversee, basically to help steer, and at least the way it was explained was that she steered Sun Wukong to become like like basically like a more moral path, essentially, because like he was I mean let's face it, he was a little bugger, like he was doing things he wasn't supposed to be doing. So like, and I thought that was also great that like we see like Sun Wukong trying to be like so like such a disciplinarian, when it's like, dude, you were always getting into trouble, man. So like it's so great to like see it's very very much a Lorraine Bates Back to the Future thing, where she's like, I never sat in a car with a parked car with a boy, which is like, oh, it's not my first time sitting in a parked car. So it's like it's very much like one of those, like it's very hypocritical, but I also think it's beautiful at the same time. I just thought, I mean, I just I thought the way that, first of all, the choreography for the martial arts was also great. I love that we
yeah.
got to see the Jingu Bandu, the things that are supposed, basically, the way that
it expands and like the
stretches,
power.
yeah, and then
through all these different things, and of course, like anybody who's seen Dragon Ball will probably recognize that that's the same staff that Goku uses in the thing. I mean, so like it's, I think I just love like the lore that goes behind the Jinguban. So like I was really excited to see it in action, and I can't wait to see the other cool things that the show has in store for it, because it can do so much. It can do so much.
It can. I agree. Like, so yeah, so as a Journey of a West fan, also myself, as I grew up watching it, I like, this is like probably like things I still constantly like keep. There was like a really amazing trilogy movie that came out in China in the last couple of years. Amazing. If you guys haven't watched it, watch it. But yes, just like I just said, like the foil of like Sun Wukong being like that strict dad, and then like the reason why he like has this was because he didn't listen to the Tang Monk, to Tang Shanzhang, is because like the Guan Yin Pusa had to give the headband to the Tang Monk to control Sun Wukong, because or else he wouldn't listen. He was a little butt. He was getting in trouble all the time. But yes, so I did like that. I only thing was that like I was kind of like, I know that they're trying to make it funny, but I think sometimes that a lot of Western media forgets is that like Wang Yipusha, even though yes, she is a character in this series, in the thing, but she is a god that people do worship. She is a bodhisattva. So I was like, she's one of the ones that like I also worship too at home. Like she's one of the main deities. So I was like watching, I'm like, it's a little bit disrespectful. Not gonna lie, just a little. Like, it's like you seeing the white people putting Buddhas in their gardens. It's like that.
It's authentic though.
It's and I think one of my biggest critiques was how much emphasis like on the importance of Jingu Bang. Like they were very much like, oh, don't let the enemies get it, don't let them like find it. But in the actual Journey to the West itself, the Jingu Bang is actually not that important. It was just a weapon that Sun Wukong managed to steal from the Dragon King. But if anything, all the powers came from Sun Wukong himself. The 17 transformation is from him learning from his masters. His the sight thing is from when he was in the oven. His immortality is from eating the peaches. So I thought that was a really Western take about how like, oh, the weapon is the most important. That's the one that gave Sun Wukong all his powers, but it's not in the actual myth itself. So it was very interesting. And speaking of, like, let's talk about the cast a little. It seems so. We have Ben Wang as Ben Wang as Jin Wang. Yao Yan as the mom, as Christine Wang, Jin's mother, Chen Han as Simon Wang, Jin's father, Kei Kui Kwan as Freddie Wang, Jimmy Liu as Wei-Chen, Cindy Taylor as Amelia, Daniel Wu as Sun Wukong. I was so excited when I saw that. And Michelle Yao as Guan Yipusha. How do you feel that they did? I like Ben and Jimmy are like really new. Like I don't think I've seen them anywhere else. So we have these like two really, really like new actors playing as the two main leads. How do you feel like the cast did in regards to everything? Let's start with you, Kenji.
Well, I feel like when it comes to a lot of series, like this is clearly meant to be a show that it's supposed to entice both adults and kids. So I feel like they got really good, child lead actors for this, because I mean, just there are certain movies, I'm not going to say which, but all it takes is one child actor to ruin the entire movie. So and so to have, and I don't want to be mean. It's just is the case. It's just unfortunate. But you have these two actors who are very much talented. They're doing good with what they are being presented,
Mhm.
script wise.
Mm.
So and like they're doing what they can with the dialogue, and it's like because like we had the moments where, like we said, like sorry, where it seems like some of the dialogue seems a little bit like outdated almost. It doesn't seem like this is not how a kid would behave or how they would act. But even so, we still got them to like, they still were able to deliver it believably in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah. And of course, just everyone that, like I said earlier, like with the casting, I thought it was, I think it's great. I think it's, but I really do hope that we get more of a Kiku Kwan as like, not as that character. I would love it to be that it's like he's actually like somebody else. Like actually, I would love it to be that he's actually uh one of the masters that trained Sun Wukong. Like that would be the best way to do it. I'm really hoping that's the case because we know that he's really. I mean, he's an amazing martial artist and fight choreographer in real life. So I would love to see him bring some of that to this series. Yeah, and I'm really hoping we get to see. I mean, maybe everyone else is kind of tired of seeing her do this, but I would love to see Michelle Yeoh like do some, just kick some ass. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I mean, it's never a bad time. Michelle Yeoh is kicking ass.
True. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, I have to agree with what Kenji said. It's just the kids are doing what they're doing the best with what they got, and for the most part, like we were talking about earlier with the whole dynamic with the mom kind of giving the shirts, they're carrying that portion off pretty well. The whole struggle to fit in, they're getting that pretty right. It's just the dialogue
Yeah.
that doesn't really mesh really well with what they're doing. In terms of like Kike Kwan, I kind of hoping it's like a mirror of his real life, so to speak. He had played those kind of actors. Now, he's doing more behind the scenes work, and we probably will see that. I hope we get to see that, like he's a teacher of sorts, I'm a drama teacher or something like that. We'll see what happens. Um, Overall, I just really hope we get more unexpected things from these actors that we normally see them in these action films, but kind of break the mold or do something different. That would be a lot of fun, actually.
No, I agree. Yes, it seems like they're setting up for something that's really going to be interesting, and I hope they actually live up to that hype. Because I'm like, because a lot can go wrong. It's building
Yeah.
up, but at the same time, a lot can go wrong. Um, but yes, and as a man, for me personally, as a Mandarin speaker, I was so glad that I was able to understand everything. Like I was worried it's going to be like another Wendy Wu Homecoming Warrior kind of situation, which I'm not. I love that movie. I love what they tried to do at that time, but I was really surprised when I heard the Mandarin. I was like, this is fluent. And the fact
Mhm.
that they use like slang, like the whole fried squid, like 炒鱿鱼, being like slang for getting fired in like during the fights between the mom and the dad, I was like, they actually tried, yay! And I hate that that's the like I'm so happy with that, even though that's the bare minimum. um, but before I
This
get
is
to this,
Disney after all, so
I know.
bare minimum is the best they can do.
I know, which is I kind of saw that in like the scene where Sun Wukong's sitting and he's talking to his like advisors. I'm like, oh, this set is actually kind of bad. Not gonna lie, it looks like a really cheap, like just put together like quickly. I was like, oh, this is not good. And they're
High
all
school
this
sets have better stuff than this.
like it's like a little janky like little theater that I had to grow up with in my high school. It was really bad. It's like a little stages in the middle of the ground. But before I go to before we cover the second episode, I just want to say there was food in this episode. And we are not talking network, so we have to talk about the food. I love that when Wei-Chen opened a thing, it was the turnip cake. And before he even said it, I was like, Lopogal! Because I loved it. Like, if you guys have not been to dim sum, Lopogal is amazing. Turnip cake, so good.
Yes.
So good. So I was so excited I saw that. And of course you have that scene where Jin is eating the chicken feet soup. And
Yes.
I actually just had that soup a couple days ago. It's very, and I love, because I think this is where like I start realizing that I am old and I am more leaning towards the mom instead of the kid now, because in my head I'm like, he's gonna hate that and I'm gonna hate it because that's so good for you. And immediately she says it's good for you. I was like, it's good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because dude, he's like picking at the goji berries. I'm like, do not pick at the goji berries. Goji berries have vitamin A. They're good for your eyes. You can tell I'm an old Asian auntie now. But it was really cool to see like traditional food actually integrated into the thing. These are food. It wasn't like a westernized version, but these were actual foods that I recognized that I would see on my own dinner table. So that was a very, very good touch to it. Okay, second episode. I am running out of time. I'm terrible at this. Okay, second episode. Guanying and Wei-Chen move into an apartment together. So she's like his auntie. She's like his cool auntie. She was like, and we see Jin start to connect and try to make friends with Anuj again. He's like, they talk about comic books because they're nerds, and I love that because we're nerds. That was so relatable, by the way, like seeing that they were nerds and like his bedroom with all of the figures and stuff. I was like, that's me too. And of course, we get the introduction of Suzy Nakamura as the head of the culture club, and they're doing the whole no hate. This is racist. This is not cool. This is not PC. And of course, we also find out that the person who did it was not the bully that we originally thought. It was actually supposed to be the head of one of his friends, one of his like cool soccer friends.
Supposed friends.
Supposed. And of course, he's the friend gets under it's like, oh, it's an anti-bullying thing, but he like goes to, he's like, hey, tell them I'm not a bad guy, tell them I'm not racist, and I'll get you onto the soccer team. How are you guys feeling at this point about this episode? How about you, Mike?
It plays to what we should expect from a show like this, kind of like he sells his integrity out sort of thing, and it's to advance his social status, so to speak. And it's like, yeah, we've seen this before, but just to see it through this kind of perspective is kind of different. And just to be able to see yourself in it feels refreshing a bit, despite it being predictable. So yeah.
I hate that. Like, I was watching it and it was pissing me off so much because I was like, that is exactly what I would have done at that age. I would have just been like, okay. Or even what's even worse is I would have been like, okay, I'll do that. And also add you don't have to talk to the coach and say that. You don't have to do you know what I mean? Like, I was that kid, and I'm like, I just hate that I was that kid. Just like, I'm watching it now, and I've been like, I would have headbutted that kid in the face because I mean, okay, it's hard to say because I actually did get into a fight because a kid was being like extremely racist. So like, it's really hard to say like if I would have completely like rolled over like that, but like I could also see myself like if there was something in it for me, very much being like that, and it makes me so upset. But it is interesting to like see that play out because, I mean, even it's like it's more that for him, it's more than just wanting to fit in. Like he understands, he's American born Chinese, so like there is a racial barrier for him too. So like even like there was that whole scene where like when he opens up the lunchbox and everyone's looking at it like, yeah, okay, and like, and even Jin's like, I just have a sandwich because I just want to fit in. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I've been there, like where like
I've been there.
You bring like your like your culturally
foods,
whatever your whatever traditionally appropriate foods that you guys bring, and then like and then like everyone's just like, oh, what is that, or or like
he did that with the
like,
pizza scene too. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm gonna buy pizza.
Yeah, and his mom's like, oh, like dumplings. Like his mom's like, oh, bring my cooking, like bring my dumplings, and I'm like, oh, I want dumplings. But yes,
Oh,
I
I would have
right.
bought it so fast, right?
It's like, yeah, I'll bring dumplings. Why not?
And then like I remember this too, because I always have one example of this that I always remember is that I remember bringing jellyfish. I love jellyfish. It's one of the foods that I love eating, and I remember bringing it. And I had a friend. It's not a friend anymore. Her face. It's this face. It's this face. It's like, ew, what is that? And you're like, and you explain. They're like, oh my god, you eat that? And it's like, yeah. Yeah, but like it's at the same time, it's like we were as like minorities in the United States, we're also taught not to like make ripples. That's what we were taught, and we do see that actually in the show regarding the dad, especially. Like the mom is very much like you gotta take what, but the dad's very much like it's like it's like he's like it's like he's not gonna give the job to me, and I'm like it burns me because it's so true, especially when we saw in the mom's like we're not jet ski people, and we know the implication of that as adults now. Children may not be, but it's like it burns me because it makes me feel so uncomfortable because it's so true. As usually we're like first generation, second generation born here, so it's okay, Miko, quickly. There's oh my gosh, I love you, Q. Q, please talk more. I love you. Q did redeem You're So Punny for Kenji, so think of that while I go through the things. Q says, also years ago, some drunk guy asked me if I was named after Q from Star Trek. I'm thinking I don't look like John, like Keish. Is that how his name? And then Nata's like John Delancey, but that's from where you were born, wasn't it? He's like, yeah. And John Delancey was perfect in that role, but I think like I was trying to say I look like him. Well, I don't see the resemblance. Now I'm talking. I was like, haha, he was drunk, I guess. Haha. Keep was like, what I get from this so far is a journey of finding yourself and your powers and finding your place in the world of the modern madness. I remember Jackie Chan Adventures. One of my favorite growing up, watching this, getting the vibe of a little bit serious and comedic. I'm vibing with each what you guys are saying. I hope it sums it up. And keep on saying, yes, he was. And so do you have a pun? Would you like me to come back?
I'm trying to find something that's like not offensive. so like
because no, it actually speaks to that joke, what could go wrong. It's like, oh my gosh. So
like,
it's not offensive.
I mean, so I mean, I guess the only pun I can really do is like I guess when like, I was really hoping that when he has that fight with Pigsy, that he would get knocked back. I'm really hoping there's going to be a moment where he just goes, "Come on, son! Come on, son!" like because his last name is Son, but that's also a way of picking a fight with somebody. So.
Okay, awesome.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. Speaking of Pixie, we finally get an introduction to Pixie, and I was like, I was like, way to be inconspicuous. Like you zoom in on him while he's wearing a hat, and it's like, wow, he's obviously not gonna be important at all.
He's not suspicious at all.
Suspicious. Like, don't be suspicious. Don't be. Yeah, but we do get an intro to Pigsy, and it's really cool. And it seems like Pigsy is not like because he was just there for really quickly. He seems like he was trying to just discipline Wei-Chen for his friend Sun Wukong over anything. He wasn't actually trying to like hurt him. He's probably just trying to get the Jinggu Bang back, because we do get a premise of like Nyomo Wang, the bull demon, is coming to wreck shit up.
Yeah.
So that's mostly the tension right now that we're getting. And of course, we get the hint that Jin is Wei-Chen's Tang monk. He's supposed to be the one that leads him. So I'm actually really curious if we're gonna get the other two characters like reference as well, with another Pigsy or Sandy. I guess that's what they're called in English, like Sao Jin and Zhu Bajie. But yes, so we do also get like I'm sorry, I'm like speeding through this now. I'm just like, we had not talked a lot about the second episode, but we see the dad also bonding with the finally his boss. He had not talked to his boss in the last couple of years, and suddenly like that Bon Jovi scene, they're just singing in the car and they're like vibing. And then, like, of course, he does try to bring up the whole promotion thing, but then we find out the boss is retiring. And that creates a whole thing in itself. And that creates more tension between the mom and the dad. So yeah, what do you guys? I'm just gonna ask what you guys feel because I think that's the only way I can like frame this. It's like, it's. I personally think it's such a nice balance between like what a realistic depiction of a immigrant family mixed in with the like the fantasy of what we get with the storyline with Journey to the West, and I think they're merging very well at this point. That there's a nice balance of that. But what do you guys think? Let's start with Mike.
Yeah, I think that's it's a well balanced aspect of what's going on so far because it just speaks to what the immigrant families go through, honestly, because my dad was also, he worked for the city of LA and everything, and he had those kind of same experiences, so to speak. And just to watch him, try to make these connections. Jin's dad try to make these connections through, oh, I watch football, and it doesn't come off as authentic. He's just like trying to push it and trying to force it, but it takes that one thing for this time it was Bon Jovi just to make that connection and resonate. And the surprising thing is, like you were saying, is he doesn't realize he could take this opportunity to connect, to ask for those promotions. And even when he learns that his boss is going to get retired, it just takes a strong woman and his wife just to find that that this is the way you can do it. I mean, I gotta help you push yourself, sort of thing. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. How about you, Kenji?
I mean, I also am hoping that we get to see the other characters as well. I mean, I think obviously, I was about to say, like, I wish I knew the the traditional names for the other characters, because I think it's like for us, for Japanese, the monk was named Sanzo.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and so I started like after I saw this, it wasn't until like the second episode that it clicked to me. It's like, oh, he's Sanzo. Okay. So like I was really so I'm excited to see the rest of the characters as well. Like I don't know what it is in the traditional Chinese version, but in Japan one of them is the Kappa demon, which is like the half frog, half turtle with like the little lily pad on his head, kind of like demon character.
Oh, okay. So
with like a beak of a duck or something. It's
so
really
he's
weird.
like a sand demon in the traditional one. So I'm like, that's really cool that they made.
Oh yeah, in the Japanese version, he's a pond demon.
Oh
yeah,
so
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's very yeah, but like that's what I mean. Like it's I really need to study the OG source material more.
It's long.
I mean,
and tedious.
But it's worth it. I feel like ultimately, I feel like it'll be worth it. But I mean, I actually, it is interesting to see that there's like this there's a B plot happening with like the father, and the job thing, and I don't know. For me, it's kind of, for me personally, it's kind of, I'm at that point in my life where I'm watching this and I'm going, because it's like, because even like, like I feel like we all kind of have like people in our lives who are like trying to like help us, push us to like get out of our comfort zones and like take these risks to like try and like get things done, and because it's hard to speak up to for yourself sometimes. I mean, because especially when you're raised like with certain like Japanese like or even Asian like principles and stuff like that, it's very much like your commitment to the work is how you get noticed.
Yeah.
And that's how you move up, when it's like that's how it works there. But like in the Western world, you have to say something. Yeah. So but of course, that causes conflict, and we're like, no, we're supposed to be the nice thing that fits into the nice square peg, this nice square peg into the nice square hole. We don't want to
don't rock the boat. Don't rock the boat.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't say anything. Yeah. Just go do your job 9 to 5. That's it.
Yep. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh god, that speaks so much to me. Speaking characters, we do actually I'm looking at the cast. We are going to get some more interesting characters from the thing. We do have let's see, Poppy Liu as Princess Iron Fan. We do have James Hong as the Jade Emperor later on. I'm so excited for that. Jimmy O Yang as Ao Guang, which is the Dragon King, and of course Stephanie Shou as Shiji Nyang Nyang. I don't know who Shiji Nyang Nyang is. But so it's gonna be really exciting. So what are you what are you hoping for the for the series, for the rest of the series, or what are you looking forward to or hoping for down last week? Because I haven't watched the rest of it yet, so
I haven't watched it yet either. I just watched the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, same. So okay, so what are
as
your
I was supposed to do?
No, I think so. I only watched the first 2 too. So what are your hopes and expectations from here on? Let's start with you, Kenji.
Well, I'm hoping that we actually get, as much as I do love Journey to the West, I don't want it to be just a complete retelling of it. Like, I would love there to be some new elements being brought in to try and to spice things up and change things up. And it seems like that they are, because we have the whole thing with oh yeah, no, Dad got those 3 scrolls, but there's a 4th one that he didn't know about, and so there's that. So in that idea, yes, it is a new concept, but I'm hoping it's not just a beat for beat of the same, and it doesn't seem like it is so far, because there's just enough different in it. So I'm really hoping that we get to see some really, really, really awesome stuff. I'm hoping that we get a fresh story.
Agreed. How about you,
Mike? I'm not sure what else I can say. I can't follow that up because, again, this is all new to me, kind of. So I don't know any Journey to the West stuff, and I'll be waiting for those recommendations.
Yes, I'll send you recommendations.
But so the whole depiction for me, it's pretty cool, and I just can't wait to see how they expand on these mythologies, so to speak, because I know I'm writing these little notes down, and who's this, who's that, and then later on I'll Google it and all that sort of thing. But yeah, that's what I'm interested in, hearing more things that I can just learn about. Yeah.
No, for sure. Same with you, Kenji. I hope that it's not a beat for beat of the original story as well. And of course, it's really interesting because we have Jin, who's not like the Tang Monk at all, because the Tang Monk in the original story is very it's Wukong, do not do that. No. And Jin is definitely not like that. So definitely. But I'm just, as I said, there's a lot that they're building up, but there's a lot that they can get wrong. And I hope that, it's just, I'm just hoping it turns out good, because if this turns out good, it's definitely a step for better representation of Asian cultures in the future. Because if this F's up, they're effing us up, not gonna lie. But anyways, that is all the time we have for today. I kind of went over because I can talk forever about Chinese mythology, and especially Journey to the West. So we talked about episode 1 and 2 of American Born Chinese, which you can find on Disney Plus. And thank you all for tuning in. And be sure to check out our Discord to keep the conversation going. So let me give a shout out to my amazing guests. Tell us where people can find you on all the social medias. Let's start with Mike.
Mike, you can find me at I am Michael J. Lee on all socials. That's it. At the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can find my writing at That's It LA, We Live Entertainment, and the nerdsofcolor.org.
Awesome. And Kenji, where can we find you on all the social medias?
You can find me on Instagram and on TikTok at Kenjinator. You can also find me on Twitch at the Kenjinator. And on Saturdays, I am part of a Dungeons & Dragons campaign where my dad is the DM. It's a lot of fun. Definitely check us out. We have right now, we're switching our campaigns now, so it's every Saturday. So that's tomorrow from noon to 3 Pacific Standard Time. KD and LA. Check it out.
Exciting, exciting. And of course, you can find me here on Twitch Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at My Hamachi. You can also find me on YouTube at Jade Yaya, where I talk about Chinese culture, Chinese mythology, Chinese traditions, and all that fun stuff. And of course, you can find me on social media such as Instagram and TikTok and all that fun stuff, either at My Hamachi or at Jade Yaya. And of course, you can listen to the show on Google Podcasts, Spotify, or where you get your podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go follow us on everything: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that fun stuff. Be sure to follow us here. Subscribe for more fun stuff. And you can find all of our platforms are at Nom Talk Network. Tune into the next show, which will be on Monday with Finding Nemo. Oh my God, is that movie that old? Oh God, are we that old?
That movie came out when I graduated high school. So
oh my God. So yes, the next show.
I just aged myself. Okay. So
it's okay, me too. But yes, the next show will be on Monday with Finding Nemo. And until then, I'm your host, Yaya. And please, everyone, have a nomorific day. Bye-bye.